Dude! I swear these two characters are the same. I mean, look at his silhouette. That's literally the getup of Thanatos. The exposed right side, the big turn-up collar on the opera cloak. Come on, tell me you're seeing this. But okay, I know you guys don't like to speculate, so today I will prove this to you using known mathematical concepts. So let's go and calculate. Oh wait, before I start, I just want to say that I'll call this mofo Anna for short because I'm trying to avoid mispronunciation.
Then the ace of the investigation guild, Leader Joyous. The one who went through the divine maze and created the standard for hollow exploration routes.
Wait. Pause right there. That one line tells us way too much already. I know Leader Joyce doesn't look so joyful, but don't be fooled with his shenanigans, because his description is literally, in simpler terms, time traveler. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself here. His description is actually the one who went through the divine maze and created the standard for hollow exploration routes. To say that he's a genius is an understatement. A hollow is a four-dimensional space. We can say this because you can't use your eyes to navigate through a hollow. You need a caret data to lead you to an exit. That technically means you can't say where you are in a hollow using only 3 coordinates. You need 4, which is basically the mathematical definition of a 4-dimensional space. And if you don't know, if you enter a 4D space without knowing how to navigate it, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, you're basically fucked. Let's explore this using an explanation from the legend who made 4D Minecraft. Let's bring our dimensions down so we can understand what a 4D environment would look like. The left here is 2D and the right is 3D of what's basically the same room. But for the sake of explanation, let's just imagine that this is 3D and this is 4D. This is what we normally see as a room of a hollow, and this is also our play area. But we will never truly see in a single moment what the entire room really looks like. It can change a lot from our perspective, even though it's literally the same room. You can't really rely on what you see, and need 300 IQ to get out of a hollow alive without a caret.
I don't have a caret or proxy support. Probability of getting lost in the hollow is at 96.4%.
Does that line make sense now? In fact, this is how we beat Corin. She lost her caret data and was basically wandering aimlessly until we found her.
Corin, do you vibe with them?
No cap, Mr. Lycan. They're the nice Sigmas who helped me out of the Ohio last time.
Caret data is obviously not a vegetable. It's what calculates how you get through a hollow. And you can thank this guy Joyous for this godsend invention. However, he didn't invent the caret himself. No, that's just something based off of his work. What he did is basically use a math concept we use in real life. It's called regular expression, or simply regex. Regex is like having a set of instructions to navigate a maze. Joyous created the regex to travel through the 4th dimension. Do you know how crazy that is? Regex is hard enough in 2 dimensions. Can you imagine 4? Alright, I know you think I'm making up words here. Let's say that we have a map that leads us from home to school. We only have one road named A that takes us there. Therefore, the map's regular expression, or simply regex, is literally just an A. Now let's extend it by making a stop in the middle of the path, and the second road is named B. Therefore, the regex of this map is AB. So basically, this is just like converting a 2D map into a one-dimensional set of instructions. The point of regex as a map tool is that regex is consistent, unlike the casual instructions like go up then right, because that will only be true for one variation of a map. The map can change its form physically, but the regex will be the same. And it can already get really complicated really fast. But then there's also a version that converts a 3D map into a 2D set of instructions, and that's even worse. So the fact that Joyous created the standard exploration route, that means he made a 4-dimensional version of regex that we can use in 3D. That's the level of genius this guy has. That level is achieved only by one other character we know. Fairy. Fairy explains that she's a Type 3 AI in the Kardashev scale, which means that she's a futuristic intelligence. If you're not familiar with the Kardashev scale, then all you have to know is that our civilization in the real world is currently only Type 0.7 on the scale. So yeah, we're not even Type 1 yet. TLDR, Fairy is smart as fuck, and Leader Joyce is at least just as smart. Not even Kingy can go through a hollow independently. She still asks a proxy to guide her through the hollows, and she's supposedly already good at complex mathematics as a robot. When someone's in a hollow, they technically become 4-dimensional creatures temporarily. And since Joyous understands it enough to make a regex for all existing hollows, then that means he can time travel. Well, there's an ongoing debate that the 4th dimension could be time itself, but I'm not here to discuss the semantics and theoretics about space-time. That's for productive people making actual changes in the world. Shitposters like me make theories for video games. So just for the sake of this theory, let's say that time is 0th dimension, because 1D, 2D, and 3D can all experience time, even though time is also a dimension. So it's pretty fair to make it 0D instead, right? Therefore, we as as three-dimensional creatures can travel time. Yes, you heard me right, you can time travel. Imagine it this way, we are 3D. That means we can influence the three-dimensional world. But that doesn't mean we are limited to 3D. That only means that we can use 3 dimensions in any given moment. It's like having a dimensional storage of 3, and you can put anything inside that storage as long as it does not go beyond 3. That means you can access either 1D, 2D, 3D, or 0D, 1D, and 2D. Yes, you can manipulate time in both 2D and 1D. Let's have a demonstration. You're watching this video right now, which is in 2D. You can move forward and backwards this video as you please. That's literally time travel in 2D. You can also do that in 1D, which is much simpler as you can imagine. As simple as pressing Ctrl plus Z. Now imagine if you can influence 4 dimensions. That means you can use up to 4D for space. Or you can time travel in the first 3 dimensions. That's right, being 4-dimensional means you can time travel in 3D. That's the kind of power Leader Joyce holds. Which is a good time to talk about how it's canon that there's more than one Anna. Otherwise, Anna here wouldn't even have different types, and it would have been put on the special enemy tab if there was only one. But this could be explained if Anna could also time travel, being the ethereal that came from Joyous. All the future Annas could just come to the current point in time and tag team. Heck, it's entirely possible that Joyous isn't even corrupted yet. It's just that he will turn into a Thanatos in the future, and all these corrupted versions of him just traveled back in time to be a menace. I mean, look at this guy. Can you die already? But before you type in the comments that ethereals can't be from corrupted people, you might be forgetting that the crying guy from the beginning turns into a Dullahan explicitly, and it happens right before our eyes. Dullahan is also an enemy from the ethereal tab. That means the other enemies from this tab may have come from other humans as well, and not just the ones from the corrupted tab. That means Anna could in fact come from a person being corrupted. Now the final piece as to why it can only be Leader Joyous can be explained if we go back to the 2D and 3D environment we have earlier. Again, you can just imagine that this is 3D and this is 4D, as the concepts are pretty much the same. If you're 4D, you could just travel through the spaces that 3D creatures cannot see. To you, you'd be just running around them, but to them, you look like you're teleporting. And what's the most iconic part of this boss? That's right, the ability of this boss to quote-unquote teleport. Isn't it weird how it's only Anna that can teleport? That means teleportation isn't actually something ethereals just have on their own. It needs to come from a host that they can corrupt, like Pompey. The Overlord here has an ethereal bike. Ethereals just don't randomly get badass bikes like these. It came from the person who the ethereal came from. And it literally says on Anna's description that the ability to teleport is exclusive to Anna. And I quote, "Hollow exploration can be mentally distressing." And Thanatos, with its unique teleportation ability. Unique meaning being the only one of its kind, unlike anything else. And there's only one candidate to create an ethereal that can multiply itself using time travel and teleport through accessing the 4th dimension. Leader Joyous. But honestly, this wasn't enough to convince me, so I dug even deeper. We all know Hoyo loves to use mythologies of old, so I looked for parallels there. And oh boy, you wouldn't have guessed what myth I stumbled upon this time. The myth starts with Kronos, a primordial god who created an egg. This egg birthed Phanes, also known as Eros, who is also basically a god of space and time in all of creation. But aside from this, Eros had another role. He used a bow to match humans and promote birth and life. It is believed that the opposite of Eros as life is the god of death, and this line of thought was popularized by the famed psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud. The god of death, of course, uses a scythe to reap the souls of the living, literally the opposite of Eros. But what would happen if Eros, a god of space, time, and life, would be corrupted into his counterpart? I'm pretty sure the image would be something like a black and white themed monster using a mixture of a scythe and a bow who can also control space and time. Wait, didn't we just describe Anna here? A corrupted Cupid god capable of time and space manipulation, now using his bow more like a scythe, more like the god of death. You know the best part? Let's look up the name of the god of death. And what do you know? We're looking at the same name. Thanatos. But hey, if you guys like that, make sure to show your support and tell me down in the comments because these vids take a long time to make. So if you guys don't even like it, then there's no point. But if you did, then please do like and sub. And remember, that's just a shitpost. A really elaborate shitpost. Show's over!